Hey, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ike, and today I'm going to show you how I easily double my money in less than 2 years by investing in the transportation business in West Africa. Yes, yes, yes. Double easily, less than 2 years. Yes, I did make those claims. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Over here, we talk about being better and doing better with a strong emphasis on doing. And we keep things measurable, simple, actionable, intuitive. And in this same case, we're going to show you exactly how I do it. And you can do it too. Investing in the transportation business, in the taxi business, in the car aspect of the taxi business, to be exact. Now, let's start with a little bit of context, okay? Let's start with context. I like to talk a lot here about taking advantage of the emerging market, taking advantage of the developing world. This is nothing new. American corporations all over the world have been doing this. Corporations, after all, are global entities, and they've been taking advantage of these disparities in economies since forever. Why do they go to India for their call centers? Yes, you hire people in India for your call centers. They go to the Philippines for the call centers and so on and so forth. Point is, you can go out there and you can offer people a fair deal because of the big differences in the cost of living. So I, for example, I preach that idea all the time. And I always mention that my company, for example, Prometheus Engineering, is a company that hires internationally. I have employees in East Africa, right? Hence, my dollar can go far. They can get a good deal, and I can get competent people to do work for me at a reasonable price because of the differences between me hiring engineers over here in Silicon Valley, and I work with Americans too, right? I work internationally. But you can take advantage of the international landscape via technology, right? Because technology now has made it such that the barrier to entry into international game has been lowered. So that's what the background is of this whole thing here. Why are we talking about doubling our money somewhere in West Africa? Well, it's because that's what needs to be done now that you have the opportunity to do it. That's what all these corporations have been doing. So, besides my engineering business, I also am in the real estate development business in West Africa, right? What does that mean? Well, that's simple. That means you get land, right? And you develop the land. You get land in places where you know that the rent is going to go up. The land is going to go up in value, okay, in the coming years. You get that land, you build on that land, apartment complexes, single units, whatever it may be, or just holding on to lots of land. So, this, for example, what you see here is a foundation being dug in one of my properties in Accra, right? So, again, this is the context behind the different streams of income. Multiple streams of income are essential. I talk about getting that getting that skill, right? Engineering skill in my case, so it could be a blue collar skill, right? Get that skill and then go ahead and get the license to practice on your own, those being your first two streams of income where you get a job and you open up your side business. But other streams of income are necessary. So, getting land, for example, is something that I'm into, getting land and developing the land. Demarcating the land over here, you see the sand and the cement, right? Get the sand and the cement, you get the guys digging for the foundations, right? And before you know it, you got some nice real estate apartment units in Accra, Ghana, and the environments and the surrounding environments. So hit me up. Hit me up if you're looking for some nice places to stay. This should be done in a few months. In a few months, ladies and gentlemen. So why am I saying this? I'm giving you some context. Okay. And this, by the way, is a borehole digging machine, which is one of the things you have to do. We're going to make a separate video on the land thing. This is not about land. This is about how you double your money by investing in the transportation area, transportation, taxi, car aspect of the business. Okay. The car. And we'll talk about what we mean by the car. But definitely when you get the land, what you want to do is you want to dig a borehole. Okay. This is the process of digging a borehole. That way you are off the grid with regards to water, right? You're off the grid with regards to getting your own water. This is like digging your own private little well system. And you're going to have also a filtration and purification system. So you're getting water from the water table down underground, and you have your filtration system as well. So this is something that I'm doing for my properties. You get property, you get water access, you get off the grid in that particular way. And yeah, so this is for some 5 lots that I have somewhere in the middle of Ghana there. Now, why do I say all this? Well, I say all this because we're going to talk about some other aspect which is easier to get into. Okay. Now, real estate is a long, shall we say, bulky endeavor. Okay. It is something that involves long term horizons. You're looking to perhaps hold on to the land for some time. You're looking to perhaps build this property and then rent it out and build equity, get cash flow, whatever it may be. But let's talk about something with a lower barrier to entry. Let's talk about this transportation gig. Now, this is just a little video of me rolling through the streets, okay? Rolling through the streets of Accra in the hood. In the hood, yes, I did not shy away from the hood, ladies and gentlemen. And what you would notice here is you will see these vehicles with yellow on the side. Not the full yellow, but you see that? You see the yellow on the side here and the yellow right here. And on this side of the street as well, you're going to see some cars going through, like that one right there that has the yellow. Those are the taxi cabs. Those are the taxi cabs. This is Accra, Ghana. And this is where I double my money less than 2 years. What is the need? What is the need? Well, first of all, there is a need for transportation, obviously, right? So that is a basic need. There is a need for transportation. However, when it comes to getting the car, there is no credit. There are no banks where people just walk into and say, hey, give me a car loan because I want to get in the taxi business. This is where you come in. You become the bank. You become the bank, and you can get a very decent interest rate because of the competition. What is the competition? Well, there is no competition. The idea is this: you give them the vehicle. What kind of vehicle are we talking about? What kind of car are we looking at here? Well, this is one of mine. Okay. This is your standard entry level. This is your standard entry level vehicle. This will cost you between $4,000 to $6,000. That's it. Between $4,000 to $6,000, you can get you one of these, and this is your entry level taxi. Okay, you're gonna paint. We're gonna paint a couple of the doors the yellow, right? So what's the idea here? You get the vehicle for $6,000. You tell the person, hey, you're gonna give me a payment every week, and you're gonna pay off the car plus interest in a year and a half to 2 years. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Simple. There is a need for transportation. There is no credit. People do not have the cash. They don't have $4,000 to $6,000 to go buy the car. If you've got it, right? This kind of arbitrage is where the opportunity is. If you have the money, right? Put in your $4,000 to $6,000, telling them you can pay or they can pay you back every week. Now you got to set it up correctly with the right type of people. And we'll be having different videos talking about how you make these different kinds of connections, right? You basically got to go with somebody that you know and can trust, right? You got to get in the game. Take O'Shea Duke Jackson, for example. When O'Shea wanted to establish himself in Africa, he went through Woody Maya. It's like, okay, now you may want to reach out to O'Shea and say, hey, how do I do this, that, or the other? And as a matter of fact, O'Shea has a lot of good content about getting in different businesses. But let's get back to this. What are we saying here? Okay. What is the idea here? The idea is people usually charge 100% interest over the space of 2 years. That means if you get this car for $6,000, people will come back and they will say, hey, pay me such and such every week. And in 24 months, it's going to be $12,000. That means you doubled your money in 2 years. But you don't have to do that, you see. See, this is where you come in. You are coming in and you're more patient. You're not a crazy loan shark, right? You're like, I got $6,000. I'm going to charge you only 66%. Okay. That means if I give you $6,000 in 2 years, you pay me back $10,000 and you're going to be paying me in weekly increments. Again, you get the car. It's paid off. It's your car. This is one of mine that I'm showing you, right? You give it to a trusted person. That has to do with the kind of person and the networks and so on and so forth. That's a totally different conversation, right? And that part has to be done right. And you have the agreement. You hold on to the paperwork for the car until the car is completely paid off, just like the bank. In other words, you are the bank, but you're getting 66%, which is a lot less than the 100% that the competition is charging out there. So you can easily go in there and say, hey, all these other people are giving you an arm and a leg or charging you an arm and a leg. I will only charge you 66%. Okay. And in 2 years, you got 10,000. Follow? You put 6,000 down. Now in 2 years, you got 10,000. So now what do you do? What do you do? You can move on to the next level of car. This is the basic level, about 6,000. But if you get a $10,000 car, you can get something maybe with 4-door, maybe a crossover. You can get a crossover, maybe like a Toyota crossover vehicle, which brings more money. Okay. And you can then, over the course of another 2 years, go from 10,000 to about 16,000. Is that understood? You can go from 10,000 to about 16,000, actually closer to 17,000 in another 2 years. So what am I saying? That in the course of 4 years, you started out with $6,000 and now you got $16,000 in 4 years. Let me repeat that. When I started this video, I said, hey, my name is Ike and I'm going to show you how I double my money in less than 2 years by investing in the transportation business. You don't have to go exorbitant with your interest rate. You can simply say, hey, 66% compared to the 100% you guys are getting right now. And there is business. There is a need for the transportation business. People are on the move, but people don't have the cars. You come in there with the $6,000, you buy a vehicle such as this. In 2 years, you got $10,000 back. You can buy the next level up, or you can buy 2 other vehicles or just another one and keep the 4,000 as profit. The point is, this is a lucrative deal as long as you can find the right people. And people can be found if you have the right connections. It's not a complete mystery. It's a question of the trust and being hooked up with the right types. Again, what is the thesis here? The thesis here is there is arbitrage out there in the market. There are differences in standard of living that make it such that you can take advantage of the marketplace. Corporations I've been doing that since forever. They go out there to China, to India, to all these other places, to Pakistan, to Taiwan, to manufacture, to do customer service for their accounting, for their coding. They even import those people over here, right? That is the idea. Why aren't you doing it? We all talk about multiple streams of income. Well, this is what I do. I talked about the fact that my company, Prometheus Engineering, hires engineers from Africa. Well, why not? Because your dollars go further over there. That is why I do it. Your dollars go further over there. So besides the engineering company, what else do I do? Well, I said that I'm also in the real estate game. I got the land and I'm doing all these other things. And maybe that is, I'm looking at the borehole digging machine here, digging water for my apartment complex. Okay. However, these are capital intensive. How about if you just want to get in the game with $4,000 to $6,000 and you want to flip that? You want to double that. You want to, in 4 years, have $16,000 back passively, just chilling, right? Whereby all you got to do is make sure you're giving the car to the right person and you're in the right networks and you can make sure that this thing is going to work out well. That is the only thing, ladies and gentlemen. So what is to be done? What is to be done? Well, what you do is you go ahead and you start investigating. How do I open an international bank account? Maybe you look at getting a passport. Maybe you look at traveling. Maybe you look at making these kinds of connections, touching your feet on the ground. You call somebody that says, hey, maybe you talk to O'Shea, or maybe you talk to me. You say, hey, do you have a recommendation for somebody that I can talk to when I go to Accra, when I go to Kenya, when I go to Addis Ababa, right? And when you touch down on the floor, you can make these face-to-face connections, right? And then you can take that $4,000 to $6,000, flip it in less than 2 years, and continue to flip and continue to flip. And then you expand. Maybe now you start getting plots of land in addition to the cars. This is what I am doing, and I'm just sharing, giving you some good games. So that's it. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, my name is Ike, and I hope that I've shown you how I double my money in less than 2 years by investing in the transportation business in West Africa. That's the car business. That's the loan business. You become the bank. You fulfill a need. You have less interest than is being charged, and you get to double that money. You get to take advantage of the arbitrage. That's how you roll. Thank you. Until next time.
In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what dwells behind the curtain, the face of evil smirking, with the shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons could breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.